All right, we are live with Chloe. All right. Oh, just one second. I guess my boyfriend's. Are you going out? Okay. I'm gonna move into the house, Chloe. One second.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. All right. See you, Alex. Okay. In the meantime, Chloe, can you see my screen already?
I can, yes.
All right. So let's put your chart in. When's your birthday?
7th of February 1975.
What time?
Now, this is the one area there's a bit of a thing. There was a bit of a hoo-ha around my birth, and I was actually born not breathing, and nobody's sure if I was born at 22:02 in the morning or 20 past 2. I tend to go by the earlier time because I think if somebody thinks it's that time, it's more likely to be that time. But
All right. So 1:40 in the morning.
yeah,
All right. And where?
in Liverpool, UK.
Okay. I just want to check one thing. No. Okay. Never mind. Okay. 16 degrees Scorpio rising. Is that familiar?
Yeah.
All right. Good. So, Chloe, can you tell us a bit about how you live, what's going on in your life currently?
So I'm 51. I live in South Wales. I've always worked in like with the homeless people, refugees, vulnerable people. More recently, I've moved slightly over, so I'm not sort of frontline facing anymore. I'm more gathering information on other people's support services. In my spare time, I've written 3 books. My publisher, it didn't go very well, so I haven't been very good at the marketing bit of side of things. My attempt of a publisher didn't go well either, so I've been a bit deflated around all of that. So I haven't actually written for a while. I live with my husband. I've got 2 cats who I love very much indeed. Um, we moved house last year. It was all very, very busy. I had a couple of unpleasant health issues over the last few years, with blood clots in my lungs.
All right,
Um,
that's you. That's pretty much. So the actually you're bringing up quite a few different parts of the chart. Let's just start with one of them, the one that piqued my interest. So you said you've worked with a homeless population most of your life. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. Homeless
Um,
kids mainly. Yeah, started with mixed and then thought I can make the most impact with teenagers. So worked with teenagers.
uh-huh. And under what capacity?
Support worker. So 16, 17-year-olds we made homeless for whatever reason, put into a small like shared house, and then I was their support worker, looking after them, making sure that they got through to adulthood without killing themselves one way or another.
Hmm. And
And then
how would
after
you
I did that for a few years, I also started fostering as well. So my husband fostered and I did that in the hostels. Yeah.
uh-huh. Fostering kids.
The troubled teenagers as well. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay. Let's start with well, actually, let's just start with Saturn by himself. This is what I'm feeling most of all in your chart currently.
Hmm.
Saturn in Cancer in the eighth house.
Mm.
The eighth house, has to do with other people's not just things, but also their situations, their mental, their values, everything.
Mm.
Once you get
Oh,
involved
thank you.
deeply in other people's business, you're kind of entering the eighth house. So there I see Saturn in the eighth.
Mm.
because you're dealing with lots of people who have housing issues, and not only, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're kind of their support.
Yeah.
So there's the Cancer part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with like fostering, because those are not your kids, but you take the responsibility and the accountability to take them under your wing. And in that case, what I feel is Saturn in the eighth Cancer's connection to Venus on the
Mhm.
cusp of your fourth house Pisces.
Yeah.
The Pisces portion of that for me would be the fostering. They're not actually your children, it's somebody else that's coming in, and you just watch
Mm.
after them. How long have you been doing so?
We did it for 8 years. And then we had to stop. My husband had a heart attack. So, I mean, I've got the different job now, but I still work in the hostels most weekends because it's something I love doing, and I feel that emotional attachment to it still. And we still see a couple of the kids we fostered, even though they're adults now, we're still very much in their lives.
Uh-huh. In the hostels.
Yeah.
So they stay, they have like a group housing for like a number of them.
Yeah, that's sort of the one role of as a hostel worker. I still do that on a weekend, but the two of the kids that we fostered for longer term, obviously they're adults now living in their own homes, but we still see them as well.
Okay. And the hostel, is that funded by the UK?
Yeah, the hostel, it's run by a charity, but the UK government pays for it via benefits. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, we're talking a lot about the Saturn in Cancer in the eighth squaring Pluto in your 11th,
Mm.
Libra. And the 11th would be like public spaces, so hostels and um anywhere else there will be housing. But for me, it's important that it's Pluto in the 11th, Libra, because that is for me that you're getting public help from the government, because the government's the 11th house and Saturn, yeah?
Right.
Okay. What do you actually do when you're there?
Um, Now I'm more just sort of monitoring, making sure they're safe and well, that there's no problems going on. When I worked with them before, I was the support worker rather than just the hostel worker. When I was the support worker, I was responsible for making sure they got their benefits, for learning their life skills, knowing how to cook and take care of themselves. The full, they'd come in sort of with very few skills, and by the time they left, the aim was that they'd be ready to actually manage their own tenancy.
Okay. So there I feel your Saturn in Cancer is very strong in everything you're sharing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You're their big support worker, helping them get through.
Yeah.
Wow. What brings you to that? Why does that work mean so much to you?
Well, I did my degree in behavioral sciences, and when I finished my degree, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just always had this feeling, right from when I was really little, I wanted to change the world. I was very emotionally hurt, really, by any sort of social injustice. So I sort of realized I was never going to be able to change the world. But after I finished my degree, I started doing some youth work. And then I just I worked in a bar part time, and I talked to somebody who was like, I work in the YMCA homeless hostel. Come and we can get you a job in there, no problem. So went and spoke to the manager, he employed me. And I realized that I couldn't change the world, but I could change the world for some people. And then after I'd been there a while, I realized that it was much easier and you had far more impact when you tried to do that help with teenagers than adults, because their behaviors are less ingrained and there's less to change. So it's like, well, I can, if you can get to a teenager, a little bit of change, if you think of the leverage of the years, a little bit of change for them can totally change the tangent of their lives. And so there was a charity that was well known for doing exceptional work with the teenagers. And so I set my heart on working for them. got in with them and worked for them for the full time for like 20 years. And that was it. That was my passion. It was, yeah, there's some that you're just never going to reach. They know best, what have you. But there was some that you'd thought you hadn't impacted, but I'd see them a few years later and they'd say, and they'd be completely different people, and they'd be like, "Oh, I remember when you said such and such," and so yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling the Sun Mercury conjunction in your third house, Aquarius, pretty much. The third house is especially young people because it has
Right.
to do with schooling and with teenagers.
Yeah.
And because it's Aquarius and Aquarius has to do with community, I see you being very involved locally,
Yeah.
having many contacts,
Yeah.
being very friendly, very
That's my job
sociable.
now, is that I'm not on the front line so much in my main job, but I'm what's called a stakeholder engagement advisor. And so basically my job is networking and
Yeah.
collecting all the information on everything so that I can get the information through to the advisors who are on the front line. So that's very much what I do is the networking. So it's again, it's that leverage thing where we're a small organization, but we can make a big impact because we work closely with other organizations.
Yes,
And I
exactly
am
right.
now directly working for Welsh Government as well.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very connected.
Yeah.
Yep, always working in organizations, sending out messages to lots of people, being in contact with all the different communities,
Yeah.
being a point of contact, being the person that does outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also see you talking to groups of people, maybe as a speaker.
Sometimes I have to do that. Yeah. It's it's not something that I'm very good at or very comfortable with. I get some anxiety around the public speaking. And
Yeah,
strangely enough, if I'm caught unaware and asked to do it, I'm far better at it than if I've had time to prepare and think about it and worry about it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I see you working with lots of schools. Hmm.
Yeah. I don't tend to do in the schools so much. It's sort of as people leave schools and then they move onwards. Yeah.
Did you use a lot of public transport as well?
Yeah, I
Were you
don't
on the
drive.
road frequently?
Yeah. I got quite a large area in
Yeah,
South Wales, and I don't drive, so I have to travel all around Wales on public transport. Yeah. Or
exactly.
all around South Wales, yeah.
Uh-huh. And I feel you're an educator also.
Yeah.
So you do like field trips. It's a lot of groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to a lot of forums, a lot of conferences. We
Yeah.
do a lot of events, getting the message out that because the service we offer is completely free, and so people don't have to pay for it. And in Wales, there's been such a huge amount of cutbacks under austerity that so many services have been lost that people don't realise that actually that we can be a gateway service to a lot of other things.
Hmm. Yeah, I see doing fundraisers in order to fund some of your projects.
I don't actually do fundraisers anymore, because everything's funded by Welsh Government. I did used to do quite a lot of fundraising when I worked with the kids
Yeah.
because it was a charity, so it was all about raising the money to there was never any funding for Christmas or birthdays, so I'd go out and fundraise directly with the local businesses so that we'd get donations so I could give them a Christmas gift, a Christmas dinner, birthday cards, those sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. I feel you being very useful with money. There's not like hoarding or too much pleasure. It's more like
It,
moving it to the right places.
yeah, money for me was it's There was guilt attached to it when I was younger because we were very, very poor. My father was a gambler, and
Mhm.
so I'd grown up with almost an aversion to it. But as I've aged and matured, I've very much grown to love not money, but the gifts it gives you to do good. That's all I've ever wanted it for. If I had money, I could do more, this, that, and the other, and that's
Yeah.
the only reason I would ever want to be rich is so that I could, when I saw something that makes me sad, I could do something to change it.
Yeah, I totally see you giving most of what you get to those projects and back to the community. I feel that you're not keeping for yourself.
No.
Hmm. You said your husband recently had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been very lucky. He's been very well since. More recently, I've had blood clots in my lungs, and the second one did actually damage my heart, but it healed. The doctors were very surprised how quickly it healed.
Hmm. What are your challenges currently?
Um,
And not even just health, like in general.
uh, Managing resources of every sort. You
Yeah.
it's energy, time, money, they all interlink in my world. So it one means the other means the other. So yeah, those are the
Why so?
um the house we bought needs quite a bit of work. We kind of
I
knew
was
that when we bought it.
I was
The
thinking exactly that your house is not doing it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, needs some TLC. It's a lovely
Okay.
house, and it's it's nice, a lovely location. I can walk everywhere I need to get, and it's got a lovely big garden that's southwest facing, so we get the evening sun, and brilliant. But it's a house that's been very neglected by the people who had it before, and we're having to do a lot of TLC around
Is it
that.
also a council type house, like partially subsidized?
No,
No.
no.
And when did you move in?
Last August.
Ah, how come? That's a big move. Yeah, that's a big move.
Um, the house we had before we bought literally like 5 months after Gary's heart attack, because the house where we'd lived, where he had his heart attack, was a really big house for us to do the fostering. Once we weren't doing the fostering, we didn't have the income to pay the mortgage.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay.
So then once we moved, it was a house I just never took to. Tried doing a lot of work to it, moving things around, getting it as good as it could be, and I just never felt at home there, and it just wasn't big enough. So everything was squashed. I always felt slightly suffocated. Um, so finally, Gary agreed that we could look at something a bit bigger. The old house was actually an ex-council house, and it was built in the 70s, and it just never felt like it had roots. This house is an old Victorian terrace. It's bigger just because Victorian houses are bigger. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, it just, even though it needs all the work doing, it just feels more solid, like a firmer foundation. I don't know why I had such a strong desperation to move, but it just felt really important to move. It was like it was something that was nagging at me all the time, and I tend to trust instincts like that. I've got a feeling the reason why we've moved will become more apparent in time.
Right. Okay, I get that. So I want to point out this triangle in your chart between
Mhm.
Venus, Saturn, and Mars. So just notice that there's been a repeating pattern. that let's just talk about the fostering, for example. That would be Venus in the fourth Pisces, right?
Yeah,
There's people coming in. And then it's connected to your Saturn and Mars in the second. So this for me is that the income that you were getting was actually from the fostering
yeah,
because you were doing the work for them. So
yeah,
this is how I see the three of them together. And now
yeah.
that you have that bigger Victorian house, I suddenly felt that Jupiter in your fourth house,
Hmm.
keeping in mind that if I'm going to back up, just notice like last year, Saturn was transiting your fourth and that Jupiter. When did you buy the house officially?
It was all signed over to us on the 4th of August. We made the offer on it at the end of May. There was a bit of chaos around then as well. Last year was a bit of a chaotic year.
Uh-huh. Okay, I see. That's and then so you actually moved just when Saturn was entering Aries. That's interesting. So it tells me something about this new house. Do you have plans on what you're gonna do in this new house?
I've got lots of plans. I always do. Um, First and foremost, it's I want to get like solar panels on it and to bring it as eco-friendly as possible. We started with getting the insulation done to the windows. I want
Ah,
to move the
okay.
kitchen in.
Now notice where transit Saturn is at the moment. Okay, at 10
Mm.
degrees of Aries, right? Aries would be the builder, for example, because you have
All
to make
right.
all that stuff happen, don't you? It's a lot
Yeah,
of work, it's a lot of
yeah,
energy spent to do that. Now, as he's sitting there, he's squaring your Mars in Capricorn and your Saturn in Cancer, right? So this is all the repairs that the house needs, and therefore the money, second and eighth house, that you have to give in order for those
yeah,
repairs to be made.
yeah,
And I imagine that for someone that like you had health conditions, your husband also probably has to keep things calm. It's a lot
yeah,
of work, it's a lot of energy,
yeah,
it's more than you guys can manage.
yeah,
Okay. I feel labor also, like maybe things are taking too long, it's uncomfortable, it's
yeah,
expensive.
yes. And it's been like um we needed to get the loft insulated. We need to get boarding down so we could move stuff up into the attic. We needed to get the electrics done. So we couldn't get the boarding done till the loft insulation was done. We couldn't get the loft insulation done until the electrics were done. Couldn't do the electrics because all the boxes are in the way. So it's been like, cyclic, and it's felt like a lot of hard work and a lot of energy and not much outcome yet. And then all of a sudden you'll have a big leap forward, and then lots of energy and not much, and then all of a sudden you'll have a leap forward.
Okay. Yeah, I see this project is probably going to take you at least until early next year.
I'd be surprised if it's done by then.
Right. I
I'm
was thinking it's
envisioning
going to
this
be
going
longer.
on over
Because
several years to get it.
exactly. And I immediately now I see because you got that house as soon as Saturn entered Aries, right? And so
Mhm,
now I see that Saturn's transiting Aries and you're working a lot on that house.
mhm. I don't mind doing that as long as it's going to be the home we need.
That's right. Actually, I feel like in a way that's fun for you and you're used to working your butt off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every
I feel
house
like
we
you're a worker
bought,
and you love to work. You love to be useful.
yeah. And I tend to get a little bit anxious if I'm not got plans and
Yeah.
something I need to be
And
doing.
if you haven't got something like it's going, dut, 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 I feel you're very organized and you're also kind of the boss.
Yeah. Yeah. Through
Yeah.
through necessity rather than desire.
Oh, is it? Uh-huh. Why so?
Um, it's As a kid, I was always accused of being bossy, so I always try as an adult not to
Uh-huh.
assume it. But then you sort of sit and wait, and other people fuck things up. And you're like, okay, I'll do it then. But I, I've learned to wait till people want you to, if you know what you mean.
I see. Mm-hmm.
I'm not somebody who wants power for power's sake, but
Totally not.
I'm somebody who will step into responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, workers' rights comes up.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not, I am in the union. I'm not sort of, that's not been my area that I've put all my energy into, but it could
Right.
have been.
Yeah.
It's something that I care about,
I
and
feel lots of building projects, by the way, and I feel like around the house, you're in the garden, you're in the greenhouse, you're in the pantry, you're jarring things. I feel like you have a lot of traditional kind of elder knowledge, and you like to keep those things up.
yeah, I don't sort of do the jarring and stuff in the pantry, but I do cook, properly, when I've got the time and energy. I have become more and more over time aware of food as medicine,
Hmm.
and, the holisticness of health. I've just been literally this last few months, um, really working on my gut biome because of
Yes.
the I learned that it controls your dopamine, it manages your estrogen levels even when menopausal, um, chronic fatigue. There's a particular one that if your body can't produce that, that's when you get chronic fatigue. And then because I'm neurodivergent, and obviously the dopamine is a big thing. And then I've just literally just read that when you're neurodivergent, you use twice as much magnesium and zinc. So
Hmm.
I've
Yeah,
taken
I feel you
electrolytes.
in general being more susceptible to health issues.
Yeah, yeah. It's COVID gave me
Mm.
the first blood clot, which was unpleasant and left me getting pleurisy quite often. And then a year later, I had the second blood clot, and that was far more serious. It literally tore through my heart and stopped half my heart working.
Oh my.
Mm.
You're
And
pretty young for that as well.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I mean, they only kept me in hospital 2 days, and then I went back for my heart scan 3 months later, and the guy actually said, "I can't believe they sent you home, and I can't believe you haven't been back in. It, I cannot believe you've healed with the damage that was done," sort of thing. So it, then I kept getting pleurisy every few months. Slightest cold brought on pleurisy, blah blah. And I'm pretty sure I've had a bit of long COVID lurking around. Um, when
I'm
I was
feeling
a
like
lot.
I'm feeling like you put yourself to work even when you're not well, you keep working, and then
Well,
comes a point where you have to like just
crash.
totally stop and crash
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. When I was at university, I think I got it when I was at school still. I got glandular fever, and then I got toxoplasmosis on top of that. So
Okay.
when I was in my teens still, I got very, very ill.
Yeah.
And I had the choice. I either stop life altogether and become an invalid, or I just keep pushing through. And so I learned to just keep pushing through. And it means that every now and then I do just crash completely. And then I pick myself back up and get back on. So that had got much better. And then COVID came along and sort of latched onto all the problems that were going on with that. Last year, after the move, I had to do quite a few courses of antibiotics. I had an infection in my finger, I had chest infection that
Mhm.
needed 2 courses. And by winter, I just felt terrible. They actually tested me for heart failure because I was just so ill. And that was when I'm very much a believer in when I need something, it will arrive. So I sort of opened myself up for what I need, and did discovered that article on the gut biome. And within, I swear, and people look at me funny when I say this, I swear that within 2 hours of taking the probiotic the first night, I could feel an improvement. And then as long as I look after that, I'm just feeling so much better. I've got my energy back, and I feel like I can get back on with life now, because up until I was starting to feel terribly overwhelmed.
Yeah, fragility also comes up, maybe of your bones, like bone density.
Possibly. Yeah, I get. It's a really strange thing. If something touches on my bones wrong, it's very painful.
Yeah.
I've got a very, very, very high pain threshold. Like
Yes.
people say pleurisy is terribly painful, and for me, I just feel like somebody's poking me a bit. So I have to be very aware, because I don't feel pain when other people do. But if somebody touches my bone wrong, it's agony.
Okay. Now I'm feeling like this is happening from an early age, that either you were fighting against your parents or you were doing chores very early, but I feel like you were
Both.
not very childlike, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the oldest child. My
Yes.
mother is very, very loving, but she's emotionally a toddler. So you get the extremes of very, very loving to utterly hateful. And my father was just total waste of space, basically. So I was probably not even the second adult, I was the adult in the household.
Yeah.
I was also very ADHD in a time before that was really recognized. So there was, if my mother kept me on a hyperactive diet, and if I ate something I shouldn't, then my temper would get uncontrollable. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, lots of very complicated stuff going on as a kid.
Totally. Yeah, I see you being the decision maker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and having to work, by the way, from a very early age, also to support your mom, feels like.
Yes, we had a small holding, so even though I might not have been earning money financially, I was doing the work of an adult around the small holding. And then as soon as I was old enough to, when I was at university, I worked all the way through university, and then I would subsidize my mother with that money. And then, yeah, I've always sort of helped her financially. If
Yeah.
not actual financial gifts, then practical gifts that would make ease the pressure for her.
Yeah, and this to me feels like lifelong. You're just the support all life. You can't get
Yeah,
away from it. Yeah. For
yeah,
everyone also, not just
yeah.
for her.
No. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel you're very giving, but the way you give is very practical, very down to earth.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like what needs, yeah, you just find what needs to be and not more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
People can find you very safe, but a little bit dry.
that's it exactly. Yeah, I'm not the fun one. My best
Yeah.
friend was the fun one. Um, she, she died in 2017. So I am aware that I'm, yeah, literally that.
Yeah.
That and yet that's because that's what I've needed to do to get through life. I think it's the Capricorn moon. But underneath me the whole time is this very much more fizzy person that just gets sort of pushed to the side so the practical shit can get done.
Yeah, I think so. Exactly. I was saying, so there's that one side of you that's very practical. There's another side of you that's very magical. Maybe that side you're more connected to privately, like you don't
Yeah,
express
yeah,
that so much to people, but
yeah,
in your private time, right? The astrology
yeah.
and
I've
more.
always been very passionately aware that the spiritual side can do some people an awful lot of harm and damage. I've watched a couple of friends go too far down, haven't kept themselves grounded enough. So I never open the door about spirituality to people. If
Hmm.
they open the door, I'll step into it. But I don't want to be the person who leads somebody in, because you've got to work hard to do it properly and keep yourself safe. And I was very, very lucky to have a teacher who really focused on that. But I've seen other friends get taught by people who chased the fun bit, the power bit, and have ended up they've lost themselves completely and become very, very ill by not doing. I was always taught you start with the grounding, you start with the intention setting. You never ever mix any kind of substances and the work. But people go, chasing what the shamans doing. It's like the shamans have spent their whole lives working to that point, and you think you know it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I see you being very orderly in a way. You're like for things to have their place and to proceed as they should without skipping steps, just
I think it's in life there are some things that the steps are there for a purpose. I think it's also when I started working in the hostels and that there were no procedures, there were no steps. And
Mm,
I'm very aware that stuff that can seem unnecessarily processed, like there's a reason for the process, and I know the danger that happens when the processes aren't there. So I've seen it in life and in spirituality. So and
yeah.
in the home, really, growing up, the safety processes weren't there either. So I think that's why I'm like that.
I'm also feeling like orphans and not just human children, but I feel like injured animals. You're It's easy for you to take them in and just bring them back.
Yeah, I when I was sort of just finished university, I was very much, well, it was before university, very much aware I was either going to work with animals or with humans. And it was like, I'll work with humans because I can't I'd bring all the animals home and I can't take humans home. And then I always said that to people. And then I realized I was fostering. I was like, bloody hell, I found a way to bring them home. But yeah, we got um, both my cats they're not like from rescue centres, they're from people who were getting rid of them. The one cat
Mm,
was terribly damaged when we got her, and it's ended up with having really bad seizures to the point where she nearly died this time last year. So she has to have medication. So a lot of my time and energy is spent keeping her safe and well, much to the
oh,
disgust of the other cat. So yeah.
mhm. Interesting. I also feel you having a very secure marriage, but at the same time, maybe because of your husband's heart attack, you have to also again do a lot of the shot calling, a lot of the work.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, we when you look at his chart, there are lots of ways it complements mine. He's a Libra, also Scorpio rising. I think he's a Taurus moon to my Capricorn moon. So there's lots of ways. So in lots of ways, we fit together brilliantly. But he's a boy. um, yeah, so there are things where he'll think he knows better and then fuck up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I also see you maybe enjoying to have people over
Yes.
and
Yeah.
have like a beautiful spread.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I wanted this house. The old house didn't have like a communal spot for having friends round and that. It was one of the things that really drew me to this house is it's got that big third reception that is nice as a dining room to have friends over and that. So we had our friends over for the first time a few weeks ago, and it was just, yeah, this is why we bought this house. This is what all the work is for. Those evenings of
Oh, interesting. I feel
music
now
and
like
singing and
you feel that you're always provided for, like your home is gifted to you by the grace of God, let's say,
oh,
for the
absolutely, yeah,
purpose of whatever you're going to serve.
yeah,
And so I feel like your house is also a kind of temple, actually.
yeah. It could be that easily, yeah, because it's it's where I'm not somebody who's like, I want this house to show off to my friends. It's like I want this house where I can bring my friends and we can have our evenings of it. And it's like an evenings of nurture, and I feed them and we laugh and we talk and we listen to music and play games. And then it's also where I've got my pets and they keep safe and my husband and keep him safe. And yeah,
Yeah, your household is like the place to be for people. Probably they come and they feel healed in a way that they don't in other places. I feel you being very intentional with how you cultivate the presence there, the
Yeah,
decorations as well.
yeah,
Yeah, and then I feel, of course, lots of water, like conch shells, seashells, images with ships.
yeah. We live by the sea,
Exactly.
deliberately.
Yeah,
And I, yeah, very much got a nautical theme going through.
yeah.
I like to go for the pale blues, greys, very pale yellows, to get that sort of sunshiny, beachy feel. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And in the garden, we're going for, because it's the southwest facing and it gets a lot of sun, we're going for like a little tropical feel to it. Some nice lilies and yeah.
Yeah, and I feel you also being like you can build things with your hands.
I'm not very good at building things with my hands. In like I'm not like a carpenter or anything. I'm a very good cook.
Uh-huh.
I don't need a recipe book. I'll just taste something and go, I want to make that and make
Okay.
it.
Oh yeah, and you make lots of different things. You explore in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. Because I like I love to travel and I'll eat something abroad and think, yeah,
Yeah.
so I can separate the flavors as I taste it. I think, yeah, do this, take that. So
Actually, I feel you appreciating culture in general, different people, different colors, different languages.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was really little, my mum used to foster, not foster, sponsor children in India, and I saw them as my sisters. They were my
Mm,
sisters as far as I was concerned. And um, my foster brother was mixed race. My best friend was Bengali. For me, it's always just been my other friend now. They're South African. I love to learn, and I've got a proper interest, and it's yeah. I'm not
and
sort of
I feel that you're
we're
so
all
engaged.
human. Yeah,
Yeah, total, exactly. And I feel
yeah,
that you're very engaging, just like with people on the street, at the store. Like you're very open, you're welcoming, you're saying hello, you're friendly. You like
yeah,
that community sense, and you're the one to build it and really like make it. I feel
yeah,
you inviting people, making kind of events,
yeah,
creating different clubs,
yeah.
connecting different people together.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
like exactly what my job is now. That's why it feels so right. Um,
Yeah.
everybody tells me things that they won't tell other people, and so I can literally just pop to the shop and somebody tells me that their life story. Something. It's happened right from when I was little. When I was like trying to be a cool teenager, I got my nose pierced to try and stop people doing it. Because I wanted to be cool, and every time I stood on the bus stop, some old lady would tell me a life story, and that. So I was like, I'm going to be cool, get my nose pierced. And an old lady literally walked up to me, looked at my nose ring, and walked round to the other side of me and told me a life story. And it was just like, okay, it's just going to happen. I'll just go with it.
hmm I feel you also being a communicator in general, traveling like on the internet. Maybe you write posts a lot. I guess the books that you said you'd written, but I feel you studying, learning, like you're not a dinosaur.
No, no. Um, I, I didn't really use social media much. And then I discovered it for sharing like holiday pictures and that. Because when you go to somebody's house and they bring out 500 holiday pictures, it's like yawn. But if they're on the internet, people can choose whether they look at them or not. They can look at a couple. So that was what I started. And then when I started the writing, it was like, right, join the writers groups and that was where I then was like, this is an amazing pleasure. I get to meet people from all around the world. I'm not like the stuff you've shown on TV. This is like genuinely meeting people from all around the world. So I got, friends who are writers in America, friends who are writers in Greece, and all literally around the world. And I can't even remember how I've become friends with him, but there's this Egyptian guy who he's had to go to Saudi Arabia to try and work to earn the money for his family, and we just touch base every now. It's just really little wholesome little friendship that you just need somebody to to talk to. So yeah, I love that about the internet. I love that ability to reach real people and talk to real people about what's going on in their lives. And yeah,
And everyone's your friend.
yeah.
Feel that.
Somebody that people either really love or really hate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen so much now I'm older, but when I was younger, people would just take a really strong dislike to me for no discernible reason. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, most people tend to.
And I also see you being very good at intimate connections. Like you're a good person, you're good at relationship. You know how to do it, you love to do it, you like to compromise, you
Yeah.
just enjoy it. And especially family time, being close with people. That is your strong suit.
Yeah, and family for me isn't the traditional mother, father, but children. My family is my people that I've gathered, my little
Right.
waifs and strays that have become my family. And yeah, that's. Um, I'm not really what I. When I was younger, I used to enjoy going out dancing, but that was because that was with that one friend that was so fun. I've got other friends who thought I just enjoyed going out dancing. Um, and now they still want to do that sort of stuff, and I just find it tiring.
I
What I
feel a
like
nice
is
like
the
misty breeze that you really enjoy feeling. There's enough like water in the air, I feel around you, and that's very nice for you.
yeah. Wales and the sea. There's never going to be really dry air. It's always a little damp.
And you
Yeah,
love it. You love the water.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who likes to look at the water. I
Yeah.
don't go in it so much. I nearly drowned a couple of times as a kid, and I have a bit
Ah.
of if the water comes up on my face. But a couple of times we were lucky enough to get to Maldives, and out in the lagoons, and that I absolutely loved because it's really shallow and still, so I could feel safe snorkeling in there and just looking at everything. That was magical. But yeah, I need to be near water, and I need to be ideally, you'll get to see it quite often. It's still something in my soul nicely. That and particular types of music.
Yeah. Music.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like what
Yeah.
kind? I'm feeling something a bit older. I'm feeling classical music as well.
Not classical. I actually find that quite irritating. It affects me too much, and very often it affects me in a negative way, possibly because I spent a lot of my life on hold because of my job as a support worker. Um,
Ah, okay. The
but also
jingles.
I find like opera is just like it's like being around a large group of people who are shrieking, which is kind of what opera is. I like folk and singer-songwriter. If you think Joan Baez, some Paul Simon, um, and then there's newer folk stuff out that's still that very traditional feel to it in many ways, and the keeping that traditional message and spirit
Hmm.
of it going.
Yes.
Um, I really love James, the group James. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
What did you write your books about?
It was actually about vampires, because I get very, very vivid nightmares, and I kept having these nightmares about vampires. And
Uh-huh.
then
Yeah.
it wasn't the traditional supernatural vampire. My vampires got infected by a virus that changed them. Um, and then my main character didn't want to lose her humanity and soul, so she'd go hunting for the bad people. So it was like, working with the homeless kids the way I've worked, you get to see the real scum of society because they hunt. And so this book was like me hunting them back. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I feel you. Now sleep, I feel is very important, like your bed and your bedroom. Maybe you arrange it in a very particular way, and you need to have your like silence, things to be very dark.
Yeah. I'm not as bad as my husband. He needs pitch black, otherwise it wakes him up. I need silence, otherwise the slightest noise. Literally, the cat walking into my room can wake me up. I'm that light sleeper. And as I've hit sort of perimenopause and that, I used to be able to sleep quite easily, and particularly on the chronic fatigue meant I slept a lot. But
Yeah.
as I've got the hormonal changes, it now means sleep can be a real issue for me. Insomnia is a problem. So yeah,
Yeah, I see. Sleep is very important for you.
yeah,
Uh-huh. I feel you also, maybe sometimes you could have like entered more hallucinogenic, hypnagogic, kind of weird states of consciousness when you're going into sleep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've never ever wanted to do drugs because my brain is like that. So I've never understood why you'd want to hallucinate, because I
Uh,
get migraines. So the Picasso paintings with all the
uh-huh.
features lined up. My eyes will just do that with people's features because I'm part of the migraine. Um,
Mm.
I've used like hypnosis and that trance
Yes.
things to try and get to sleep and try and relax, but it didn't always go very well because one of the problems was when my anxiety's bad, which is one of the things that stops me sleeping. If I don't have like the steering hand on my brain, that's what the hypnotic stuff does, then it actually the depression side gets control, and it's not much fun. So I tend to not do that so much anymore. But I
Mm.
do I get dreams that definitely foretell the future.
Yeah.
I dreamt the tsunamis for years. Um,
Yes.
I've dreamt other things for years, and I don't always know what they are until it happens. And oh shit, yeah, that was that. So I'm very much aware of what's going to happen. It's like I've been having a lot of dreams about riots and fire and social upheaval for quite a while. So what's happened over this last couple of years is not a surprise to me at all. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's very much my dreams are, and then I'll get. I dreamt my best friend dying without knowing that I was dreaming that.
Mm.
I kept being in journeys with her, and I supported her to run away from home because she was supposed to have an arranged marriage and her father was a nightmare. So in my dreams, we were in the car and we were going back to her family, and I could never understand why. And she was just like, I just have to. And then she died, and it was like, yeah, okay, that's what that was about. It was
Hmm.
a shock, but also not a shock. My head hadn't known it, but my soul had, sort of thing. So yeah.
I also feel you being very helpful to other people, not even the people that you're fostering, but if someone needs to come have a tea and talk or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
very much so. I can pick up quite easily when somebody's energy has reached crisis point.
Hmm.
So other people might find somebody a bit of a nuisance, but it's like 10 minutes
Yeah.
of my time now could possibly save this life. It's,
I feel like you're always there for people. You're very reliable and
yeah,
yeah.
maybe too reliable in some
Yeah.
ways. People can
I
take it
feel
for
like
granted.
sometimes that's you put so much of that in that but you don't
Yeah,
get as much back from it. Not that you need that, but yeah.
no, never. Never have. I don't know quite what I would do with somebody else that was like, if I met somebody else like me, I wouldn't quite know what to do with that because it'd be like,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Humble mother servant. Mm.
probably, yeah.
Okay, let's pause there for today.
Okay. Thank you so much.
What did you think?
You're very, very, very good indeed. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very accurate.
When you were looking at the screen and I was removing certain planets, adding other ones in, did it make sense to you what I was looking at? Because I didn't explain it to you this time. Usually I do, it just didn't happen.
It did, in that you explained it to me, but I don't know the charts very well. I tend to look at the list rather than the chart when I'm looking at mine.
Mhm.
I think if I just sat down and studied a book, it'd be too much. I wouldn't take it in. It's part of the ADHD side of things. What's working for me is I'll see an interesting post on social media and then go and check, right, where is that house? Where is that planet? And that sticks with me better than it, like little bite-sized bits of learning. It's like a fun way of learning rather than trying to do the organized learning.
Great. I totally get it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stop recording then, and I'll talk to you for just a few more minutes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Chloe and I are signing out.